Hey YouTube, Bob here. Welcome to the next installment of my Nintendo Unboxed playlist. And in this video we're going to be taking a look at one of Nintendo's newer consoles. And well, I say newer, it's newer to me, to my mind. If you do an internet search, you're going to find that the Gamecube was actually released in the year 2001. So in the year of the filming of this video, 2021, that makes it 20 years old, which is about half as old as I am. So in my mind, this console is one of Nintendo's newer ones. But I thought in the spirit of its 20th anniversary and that I do get a few requests to unbox the Gamecube, that it would be in order. So here we are. This is the GameCube that I bought back in October of 2002. I actually didn't pick this up on launch day because it came out at a time when I was kind of taking a break from video games. I was in college, kind of moved on to some different things. My attention was elsewhere. So Nintendo took a back seat. So the tail end, or actually probably the midlife to the tail end of the N64, when that was going on, I kind of tuned out from video games. But I had a hankering to play this new Wave Race game that I had heard about because I loved Wave Race 64 on the N64. So when this came out, my brother got it in 2001. I rented Wave Race and played it on his new GameCube, and of course I loved it. And about a year later I decided to pick one up. And I'll always know that it was in October of 2002 because my Target Visa, or now Target MasterCard, always tells me that I'm a card member since October of 2002. So I know that I opened up that card to get some percentage of a discount off on the purchase of this GameCube. They didn't have any memory cards when I went to buy this GameCube, so I wasn't able to save my progress in Wave Race. But shortly thereafter, I did get a memory card, and that was one of the new features of this Nintendo console, is that the games were on discs. The cartridge-based nature of the N64 was well known to be one of its biggest downfalls, but the Nintendo GameCube sought to remedy that, and because of that it needed memory cards. But unfortunately, even with the games on discs, even that it was very easy to program for, which apparently the N64 wasn't, Nintendo was still not able to garner the third-party support, and this became one of Nintendo's worst-selling consoles of all time. Second now only to the Wii U. But something that is kind of indicative of that, I think, is that it says limited edition platinum. And to my recollection, this limited edition, so to speak, became one of the most available colors. I think they ratcheted down production due to low sales, and as a result, they had lots of these platinum versions that they just kind of slowly sold through the stock, and that was pretty much it. But maybe as we rotate the box around, we'll see some of the different color variations that we got here in the United States. But here, got a picture of the system kind of on its angle to the side there, which is kind of neat. Limited Platinum Edition. Turn it around to this side here, we got a shot of the console and the controller, which is definitely one of the preferred controllers to play Smash Brothers Melee, which is still one of the most popular games as far as competitive Smash Brothers titles go. So the GameCube has become a standard for that. The GameCube controller has become a standard for that game. Turn it around to this side, got the GameCube logo, noted that it's the limited edition Platinum. This side we got another different angle of the console itself. Then on this side we have some information here about some of the accessories that you could buy. Got the memory card, the Wavebird wireless controller, the modem adapter, and the Game Boy Advance cable, because there was connectivity between the Game Boy Advance and the GameCube. Also, a little note here about AV hookups, that you'd have to buy an adapter if you wanted to hook this up to your TV via the RF connection there. So then we take a look onto the back here, and that whole cube motif continues on here. Got a lot of the popular games. These are pretty much launch window games within the first year of the console's life. Super Mario Sunshine, Animal Crossing, Mario Party 4, Luigi's Mansion, Super Smash Bros. Melee, Eternal Darkness, which did that? Yeah, that did come out. I have that game. Metroid Prime and Star Fox Adventures. Those were some of the first-party Nintendo releases that were going to be coming out. So here we also have the little cutout here so that whoever was scanning this at Target or wherever you bought it, in addition to scanning the basic product looked-up number, you also had to scan the serial number just to prevent fraudulent returns here. So it's a little bit of what we get on the outside of the carton here. So we're going to open it up, and I got to tell you, repackaging this was quite a project. There's no styrofoam in here. This is, I think, the second console. Did the N64? No, the N64 had styrofoam. So this is the first console that didn't have any styrofoam packaging. And it was kind of a puzzle to figure out how these cardboard pieces work together to kind of hold everything in. So we're going to take a look and see how that works. But I think I was able to get it packaged up just like it was if you were to have bought it. So we open it up here. We've got a whole bunch of bagged items here. We've got the stereo AV cables. And this particular one I noticed right off the bat, a little bit of a variant here, is that the plug that plugs into the back of the GameCube is actually black instead of gray. Throughout the Super NES and the N64 era, this plug was a gray color, but GameCube changed it to black. So we remove the AV cables, and then we have the AC adapter, which like the N64, the actual converter here is external, which is kind of nice because that means the cord ends in a normal plug and you don't end up covering outlets on your wall because of a big power plug there. So if we take this out here, this is the power brick in a super long bag. See if I can get this out here. There we go. So there is the GameCube branded power brick. Got the plug that goes into your wall, and then of course this plug that goes into the back of the GameCube console. So once we remove the AC adapter, what else are we left with? Looks like documentation is up next. There's actually a little retainer here, retainer tray that sits on the top of the GameCube. I'll wait to pull the retainer tray out. But if you can see it in there, it's got that little wall. I think in addition to the documentation, they reserved this space right here in case they wanted to include a pack-in game, which this particular Platinum model that I bought didn't have any pack-in games, but I have a feeling, since that's pretty much the dimension of a GameCube game case, that's where it would go. So let's take a look at some of this documentation that we have here. We've got Nintendo GameCube. Sign up for a chance to win a Nintendo GameCube game disc of your choice. Enter online at nintendogamecube.com/register. Or you could do it the old-fashioned way and mail in this registration card. Does it say what game you could win? Signing up for the Nintendo GameCube mailing list gives you some cool benefits. If you send in this registration card, your name will be entered in a drawing for a chance to win a Nintendo GameCube game disc of your choice. Being a registered Nintendo GameCube owner entitles you to receive mailings with other great offers from Nintendo. And by telling us a little about yourself and your gaming interests, you'll help Nintendo create even more exciting gaming products. So it doesn't look like it goes into any detail about what game that you could win. That might have been explained online a little bit more. But so there's that registration for that contest. The subscription for Nintendo Power Magazine, which at this point was still being published by Nintendo itself. Nintendo GameCube Strategies, the official source. So sign me up. At this point, however, there was internet, so there's an internet address there as well. System features, hot tips and codes, power ratings, detailed strategies. Get the power. Nintendo Power. The obligatory precautions booklet. And then the manual. Pretty simple. Just a black and white manual here. Looks like it might even just be one language. Let's take a look and see what we have here. Thank you for purchasing the Nintendo GameCube. Please carefully read this instruction booklet and the separate precautions booklet before connecting or using Gamecube or components. After reading all setup instructions, if after reading all setup instructions you are still unable to connect or use your system, please refer to the consumer assistance information on the back cover of this booklet. Then they give you a little blank space right there to copy down the serial number of your console. So let's see what we got. Components, system setup, system operation, main menu, troubleshooting, error messages, and then warranty and service information. Yeah, main menu. This is one of the first game systems by Nintendo with an OS. It's got that very calming, soothing music with that cube menu system. Very, very unique to the GameCube. Here we've got the different views of the system here. You got the back view, mentioning the digital AV output, which allowed for component or YPBPR video out signal. This is one of the features that they removed in later iterations of the GameCube hardware, I assume to save on production costs and perhaps pass those savings along to the consumer, or not, because the system did not sell well. I'm sure Nintendo was trying to make as much money on it as possible. So it was probably just a cost reduction measure. So some nice illustrated instructions here. Yeah, kind of illustrating how to use the digital AV out. Interesting fact, though, that if you want to use it, you have to use both. You have to use the stereo AV cable for the audio, and then just do not use the yellow video plug, and then you use the red, blue, and green plugs for the video. I actually do have that cable. I imported it several years ago. It was expensive then. It's even more expensive now. I think that cable cost around $100 when I bought it. And I don't think Nintendo ever released it at retail in the United States. I think you could only get it through their website. But I think I got a Japanese version of it. So yeah, this is actually a really nice manual, just as far as the illustrations go. Very old school looking, even if it's not in color. But yeah, and it goes into some detail there about the menu and how to access your game save files, etc. And a little brief troubleshooting section here. So yeah, those are the manuals and documentation that came with the Nintendo GameCube. So let's take a look and see what else is in the box here. Now we get to this kind of puzzle piece that I was mentioning. There's this cardboard retainer tray that has a couple different parts. So I'm just pretty much going to put this flat and then pull it straight out here. We can get the box out of here. So this is that little retainer tray that I mentioned. These two flaps kind of flank the sides of the GameCube, and then you're supposed to put the GameCube game on top here if there's a pack-in game, or just documentation like we saw. So we'll flip this around so you can see no styrofoam, just all cardboard kind of securing everything in the package there. So we'll take a look at the controller first. This is a platinum controller that matches the color of the system, obviously. This is the same one that came with the system as I bought it, so a little wear and tear to this controller. But I do keep my things in generally nice condition. So as close as you can get without spending lots and lots of money buying a brand new, never opened since 2001 Nintendo GameCube there. You got the platinum controller, GameCube, Smash Brothers standby there, or standard rather, and then the actual GameCube itself. And so you can see I had to figure out how to fold this thing up and get everything in there. It was quite a puzzle to figure that out, but I did, and I think I'd be able to do it again. So here's the GameCube, platinum color. A little bit of sun fading's not the right word, but whatever that bromine, is it bromine chemical that they put, the flame retardant that reacted with the UV rays from the sun. So I got a little bit of yellowing there on the controller port bezel, but that's to be expected. So got the GameCube. disc tray right here. Power, reset, and open buttons. Got the iconic handle. And then also we've got, I always found this interesting, is that this is a cube. I mean, you could ostensibly set it on any of its sides here. So what they do, so you don't block the fan, like if you had this in an entertainment center and you had it right up against the wall of the entertainment center, that would be really bad for the fans. So they put this little piece of plastic here on both sides so that you couldn't have it flush with a wall blocking the intake or the output of the fan. So we flip it on over to the back there. We've got the AC or the DC in, the digital AV out, and the analog AV out. And then on the bottom here, got all the different port covers. Your high-speed port that was used for the Game Boy player. Then you've got the serial port 1, which was used for the 56K modem or the broadband modem. And then serial port 2, which to my knowledge I don't think was ever used for anything, but please let me know if there's something I'm forgetting. Some use of serial port 2. So yeah, even though the GameCube is 20 years old this year, in my mind it's still one of Nintendo's more recent consoles. And I think as those 20 years have gone by, the demand and the interest in GameCube has gone up, as you see a lot of prices skyrocket for GameCube hardware and games. So if you're interested in collecting for the GameCube, better get on that. But for now, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I hope you look forward to the next one. Take care.